We will call these ones proportion questions. These kind of questions, are there any bakers or chefs in the audience? Anybody like cooking or making chocolate chip cookies at home, something like that? You like to eat them? Okay. So this kind of proportion question comes into play. You're mixing your batter, and your cookie recipe says you need 7 eggs. So you start putting in eggs, you're listening to your favorite song, and you just keep putting in eggs, and then you realize, oh no, I put in 9 eggs instead of 7 eggs. How much of each other ingredient do I now need to add in order to make it work out? Or how much of other things do I need to add so that the proportions that I want work out? And so these are proportion questions. Or do you just make the cookies extra eggy and just leave it? Or dump the whole thing out and start again? There's different solutions. Some are more costly than others. All right, just open up the video and start watching. All right. So here we go. We have 2 liters of water. We want to make lemon juice that's 20% lemon juice, because apparently that's the best tasting lemon juice. Any other proportions, either too sour or just too watery. And so for our proportion questions, all we're going to do is write out our proportion in words. We'll write it out in words first. It's pretty easy. These are the easiest of the 3. I would call our distance, speed, time ones the most complicated because it's got a big chart. Then our work questions is the second complicated, and I would say these ones are the easiest. Just write out the proportion in words. And then you just have to choose a variable and solve it. So in this question, our proportion in words, if we want 20%, that I guess is a number, but the proportion here we're going to write in words. If you want 20% lemon juice, what would you have? You would have, if you wanted to 20% on your test, if that was your goal, right? We have our total liquid down here, right? That's just like if you wanted 20% on a test, you'd have the total amount that the test is. And then the amount that you get right, well, this on top would be our lemon juice. How much we have lemon juice out of the total liquid has to be 20%. That proportion isn't hard to write out in words, right? Lemon juice over total is 20%. That's our proportion. Now, what happens in the question here is now we're going to choose a variable. What variable do you want to use for lemon juice? L. So we've got L as our lemon juice. What is our total liquid here?
2 liters.
That's where we're going to make the mistake. You're going to want to write 2 liters here. 2 liters. But this 2 liters is just water, right? You have to add whatever L you put in gets added to the total. It's not like you put in a cup, take out a cup of water. That's very hard to do instantaneously. Okay? So we have more in our total now than we did before. We started with 2 liters, but each time we add lemon juice, our total gets bigger. So the most common mistake in these questions is to say to yourself, well, 20% of 2 liters is 400, so I should just add 400, and then I would have 20%. But then your total grows. Your total grows when you add that 400, and if you did 400 divided by 2,000 plus 400, you would have 1/6 lemon juice, which is only 16.67%, so you don't have quite enough. Now this equation, solving it, you could use the cross multiplying here. We could use the common denominator. Common denominator, this one's missing the 2 plus L. I'm making fancy L's so you don't get them confused with 1s. And here, this one's missing 100. Some of you might say, oh, I could reduce 20 over 100 first so my numbers aren't so big. Yes, that would be fine as well. That's probably a better idea, but I didn't do that, so let's just work with what we've got here. We're going to have 100L equals 40 plus 20L. $80L equals 40. L equals 1/2. So we need to add 0.5 liters of lemon juice. Okay, the proportion questions are easier, but where you're going to make a mistake is forgetting that the total liquid increases in a case like this. Question you can do for homework, you can try it right now. Try number 7.